The Ottawa REDBLACKS lose 20-13, and hold your horses. It was not as close as the score makes it seem. They lose 20-13 to the Saskatchewan Roughriders, officially eliminating themselves from playoff contention, becoming the first team in 2025 to get eliminated from contention for the 2025 Grey Cup playoffs. Right back to where we started, right back to square one. Not even close, by the way. Might I add? You know, I could have maybe swallowed it if we had like 6 wins up to this point. You know, it's looking very feasible that every team that makes the playoffs this year could have a winning record. It's more than possible that every single team that makes the playoffs this season will have at minimum 9 wins. You know what? I would look at that and say, you know, it was a strong season this year. What can you do? You know, there are some seasons where 6 wins makes the playoffs and others where 8 isn't enough. CFL is weird like that. We're still at 4 wins, and let's be completely honest with ourselves. We are not going to get to 7, and if we do, it'll solely be if Calgary wins, or if Hamilton wins against Calgary on the 11th. Because then Montreal would have nothing left to play for. They would have clinched second in the East, and they couldn't go any higher. Hamilton holds tiebreaker on them, so if Hamilton clinches first in the East, well, we face Montreal twice, a team with nothing left to play for that doesn't want to risk injury. And then we face Hamilton, a team with nothing left to play for that doesn't want to risk injury. It's possible that they would just rest their starters and our top line could face, you know, their second stringers and third stringers. And we would that's the thing. I'm not even convinced that our top players could beat a line of second stringers on Hamilton. I'm really not convinced. And if they did, great, who cares? You know? Like, wow, you would only win those games because you'd be putting yourself in a situation where you're so out of it that with 3 games left to play, teams are resting their starters against you because, like, nothing worth it here. It wouldn't even be worth it for them to play spoiler. What's there to spoil? We're already out. The only thing that can be decided is who's going to finish dead last. Us or Toronto. You know? Who's going to finish dead last in the East. I will say I'm happy that Toronto got eliminated from the playoffs. You know, from first to worst. At least that's more embarrassing than our fall from grace. That's what gets me. When Bob Dice had that terrible first season where, you know, I was already questionable about, like, taking him. I was like, feels like did we get a good sample size? We had 4 games as head coach, and he won 1 as interim head coach, and now he's the real deal, and it was a pretty rough season. I wasn't too keen. You know, I wasn't too keen initially, you know. A season or 2, not doing too great. Okay, you say. Well, let's see. 2024. 2024 things turned around, right? 19, we fired Campbell. Nothing happened in 20. 21, I believe, was Lapo. And I think, was it 22 when he became interim, I believe? And 2023 was bad. 2024 wasn't good, but it was a step forward. It was finally progress. That progress is gone, and there's no regression worse than the kind of regression where you are back to square one after taking a baby step forward. Let's be honest, we got bodied in the East semis last year. Oh, but to the eventual Grey Cup champions. Yes, and I get that it was a game until like the very end. That, you know, we were still kind of in it. You know, we had a lead at halftime. Like, was that our window? Was that one season our window of opportunity? And now it's all gone. Like, I said going into that season, it is harder to consistently miss the playoffs. It actually, when 6 out of 9 teams make it, you're statistically more likely to accidentally make the playoffs one year. That's what that was. That was just the statistical anomaly. The accidentally making it. It was well, somebody's got to make the playoffs. 6 teams need to make it. Well, I guess Ottawa is just mathematically going to have to be there because Edmonton and Calgary and Hamilton just didn't do that well that year. Hamilton had a horrid start. They dug themselves a hole they couldn't get out of. Calgary and Edmonton were Calgary and Edmonton. Calgary's a lot better this year, but last year they were abysmal. Same with Edmonton. So by process of elimination, we just mathematically had to be that team that made it and then get taken out. And now we're back to status quo, which is 4 wins out of the playoffs. It's not even Thanksgiving. Yeah, we got cut from the playoffs before the turkey got cut. It ain't. I remember I've harped on this that it felt like Rick Campbell was like a Jacques Martin hire. He was like a Jacques Martin hire. If the season goes bad, you fire the head coach who's already kind of questionable, and you put them in with the legendary head coach. And I think I get it now. I get it. I get why they stuck with Bob Dice. And it isn't just because our season's still technically at a pulse. Bob Dice got hired that way, right? Not that exact way, but he was the interim head coach. And if we're being honest, that interim period, it wasn't necessarily good. He went 1-3, but when you consider that up to that point, through 14 games, we were 3-11. 1-3 didn't seem all too bad. Didn't seem like the end of the world. And you would think that's a terrible, terrible team. It looked like we were only going to have 3 wins. We're in this tailspin of a losing streak. It felt like, you know what? If he could get a win out of that team, you build a good team around him, and maybe he could do something. I think that is what scared us off. Because if you... Like let's say right after this game, okay, we're eliminated from the playoffs. So let's say you do fire Bob Dice. You fire Bob Dice, you make Rick Campbell the head coach, and then we go 3-3 to end the season. What do you do? First off, Rick Campbell's not Jacques Martin. Martin was not looking to coach in the NHL anymore. He was put in there, emergency services, just get us to the end of the season, and then this way, he can actually end his journey with the organization on a much lighter note. No controversy. The last game of the season is his last game as the head coach, and everyone's in agreement. Kumbaya. Rick Campbell, if he's offered a head coaching job, he's going to take it. Let's be clear, not just from Ottawa, from any team. If another CFL team... let's say Toronto's so upset that they've missed the playoffs after winning the Grey Cup that they get ready to do anything. I'd love to see that. I'd love it. If they offer Rick Campbell that position, he's going to take it. He wants to be a head coach. Let's be honest with ourselves. If a team offered him a head coaching position, he'd say yes. If any team other than the Ottawa Senators offered Jacques Martin a head coaching gig, he probably would have said, I'm 70. I'm good. No thanks. He did it because he was already with the organization. We were trying to, get back to our roots, reach out to former legends of the team. He came in there as an emergency, one-time only deal. If you make Rick Campbell the head coach at some point during this season, he becomes the candidate, at least the lead candidate for the job in the offseason. If he does well, again, Hamilton might win. We might get 3 meaningless games to close out the season against teams that are either not playing their starters or who play their starters, but their starters are not going to risk injury. They're not going to give it 110% to beat the Ottawa REDBLACKS. They're just going to show up, go through the motions. That's what the rest of the season is for us. It's going through the motions and hoping we finish ahead of Toronto, I guess, for bragging rights. You know, I don't even know who I want to win the Grey Cup this year. I guess either BC or Hamilton. I feel for Hamilton after you know the tragedy they've suffered, the loss that they've suffered. Be nice to see them win, and also it would just be nice to have something to make fun of Argos fans about. And I just, you know, I don't have any reason to dislike BC. I'd say Edmonton, but Edmonton's probably. I mean, I hope they make the playoffs. I do. Edmonton has now just by default become my secondary team because I feel like we're brothers in misery. Since 2019, at least one of the Red Blacks or Elks have missed the playoffs every single season without fail. One of them misses more than often. Both of them miss. It would be nice to see the Elks end that miserable streak. They've had it ever since COVID ended. They've not made the playoffs. Ever since COVID ended, like the COVID season, not COVID ended, but like, you know what I mean. The COVID season wiped out, 2020 season wiped out. From the 2021 season onward, they have not made the playoffs this decade. That is wild. You know, it'd be nice to see them do it. They face Winnipeg. If they win that game, I'm sure Saskatchewan would love the opportunity to make sure Winnipeg just falls a little bit. So at this point, I think the hope for Red Blacks fans should be that we beat Toronto, that we finish ahead of them. What else is there to hope for? Nothing. Malden got traded. And look, you can say, well, you know, he wasn't going to resign. But Malden, who felt like the heartbeat of the defense at times, wasn't going to resign. Fan favorite players don't want to be here. I wouldn't want to be here if I was a player. Would you? I wouldn't want to be here if I was a coach. And honestly, I barely want to be here as a fan at times. And here's the thing. I am a fan. Look at me. I'm a diehard fan. My pants are Red Blacks. My hat, my chain, my jersey, the shirt under my jersey is Red Blacks. I'm a diehard fan. Do you see this cape? Do you see that? I don't know if you can see it, but I have the 2016 Grey Cup banner. That was a long time ago. I'm a diehard fan. And as much as it's easy to say that oh, people like me are the lifeblood of this team, we aren't. It's the casual fan who's the lifeblood. It's the fan who may or may not get season tickets, depending on how the team is doing. Oh, they had a really bad past, half decade. I'm not going to go to any games then. Maybe if they start winning, maybe if it's at least entertaining, maybe if I at least don't know the story. Do you want to know the story? Oh, okay. 2-0 for Ottawa. Saskatchewan marches down the field, scores a touchdown. Oh, but they didn't get the extra point. The drama's killing me. Then guess what? We take a bunch of stupid penalties. And we'll get back, and we're back to our 1 yard line, thanks to a bunch of moronic penalties. Red Blacks and having discipline issues? No. Discipline issues? This team? This franchise? They would never. We nearly give up a pick, but it doesn't count because Saskatchewan was this much out of bounds. We were boys against men. Oh, but hey, we punt and we get a stop. Our defense didn't do that bad this game, but our defense gets a stop. We're moving the ball. It's a game again. Pick 6. All right, as we're getting into Saskatchewan territory, and maybe this game will be interesting. Maybe this team will fight for their playoff lives. Pick 6. And a 2-point conversion to boot. 14-0. Already, wow. Well, that's all right. We get the ball back and we throw another pick. Why not? We were a turnover factory, I guess. Now, again, our defense does get a stop, and we return it all the way back for a Khalil the Thrill Pimpleton touchdown. Boom, Ottawa gets a penalty You thought discipline issues? No, it's not like we just talked about how we took a bad penalty to get us to the 1 yard line to start one of our drives that ultimately went nowhere. No, we need an illegal block that honestly we did not need. Pimpleton still probably would have gotten to the end zone without that boneheaded decision. How can we make this worse? Challenge it. I've never seen an illegal block challenge get overturned in my life. If it's happened, I beg you, throw the link. Throw the link in the comments. While you're at it, like, comment, subscribe. I'm shelling out for this one. Please look at the team I support. I need this. I need something good to come out of this season. It gets called back. It gets called back. We go nowhere. We punt. Our defense gets another stop. They are doing everything to keep this game alive. 3rd and 2 at the 51 for Ottawa. This is your chance to show that you have some guts. That you have some pride. You're down 14 points. We're coming towards the end of the half. We're approaching it. Make the play. Make the call. We punt. We punt down 14 at our own 51. 3rd and 2. We punt. It's pathetic. It's cowardly. That's the decision of a man who knows he's not going to be head coach next year. That's the decision of a man who's not questioning it. He knows he's done. And the only reason he's still here is because if we fire him right now and his replacement does good but not great, it puts the organization in a tough spot. And I think they've learned their lesson and they just want to go through the motions, get this season over with, clean house. Condell's going to be gone and Dice is going to be gone. It's not a question of if at this point. If Bob Dice is the head coach going into game 1 of next year, I don't think a single fan is going to be in the stadium. I don't think there's going to be and I think the organization knows that. I think the organization sees the fans bleeding. OSEG needs to at least realize that you need to show that you care. And I think the only reason why they have not made a move now is because, what if Rick Campbell comes in and we go 2-3 or 2-1 or 1-2 even? Oh, wow, we only won 4 games with Dice and we get our last win in 3 games. Oh, wow. What if we win enough games that it muddies the decision-making process? Just cut out the middleman. Let him get to the end of the season. Thank you very much for your time, Bobby, but we need to move on, and we do. And maybe a different team will suit you better as well. Again, I like Bob Dice. I wish him nothing but the best. If he finds another CFL team and does well, I'll be happy for him. If he does something else football related, I'd be happy. I've said it before. He seems so likable. I bet he would be great with TSN. Look at La Police. Everyone loves him. And he was not working as the Red Blacks head coach. And I think it worked out for everybody. The Red Blacks got a new coach who, hey, at least eventually got them to the playoffs. And La Police is a great TSN commentator, analyst. It's wonderful. So, Bob Dice is going to be gone. I think that's a foregone conclusion, as is Condell. That move has to happen. And I think they want to be able to go into the off season. Options open. Like, no bias, no nothing. Find the right person for the job. But that decision, when, look, we weren't making the playoffs. Like, we knew that going into this game. But it wasn't mathematically guaranteed until we lost. Until this game was actually over and decided, we were mathematically still alive. Had we won this game at the end of this week, we would still be mathematically alive. Theoretically, if we win this game and Hamilton beats Calgary, all of a sudden our options open up. We have 3 games down the stretch against teams whose games don't matter. And, maybe one of, Winnipeg or Calgary will just choke. Is it likely? No. It wasn't going to happen. But you got to play like it could. You got to coach like it could. And 3rd and 2 at the 51, down 14, you have to go for it. We punt. And again, our defense forces a punt. Our defense allowed 1 touchdown. 1 touchdown in the first half. One. Technically, they also allowed the 2-point conversion on the, on the pick 6. But still, that's against the best team in the league, 8 points that our defense conceded through 1 half. 14 through an entire game. Of the 20 points put up by Saskatchewan, our defense was only on the field for 14. Best team in the league. And our offense does nothing. We finally get a field goal to end the second half. A field goal, 14-3. Hey, we continued the trend. They got 6 to close out the game. We got 10. We were such a good second half team, guys. We always outscore our opponents in the second half. Too bad the game's done by the end of the first. And, again, a quick stop. Another pick by Brown, who gets pulled for Crum. It's unclear if Crum's going to start next game. And again, I do believe Drew Brown is the future, but this was not his game. And at some point, you just wonder if you want to cut your losses. Maybe you just let Crum ride it out so that Brown's confidence isn't shaken. We regressed this year. You don't want your future of the franchise to regress alongside you. Our star players don't want to be here. If Brown wants out, that's it. We're done. You need him to improve. You need a better offensive coordinator. You need a better coach. You need a better everything. This was miserable. And again, it's worse because we made the playoffs last year, because we finally went 9-8-1, a winning record. We did the thing. We made the playoffs. And I even said it only matters if you continue, and we're right back to square one. We're right back to being a 4, maybe 5 win team. I don't know if I would care if we win the final 3 games, If we finished as a 7-win team, which is only a small slide back, and you're oh, maybe they're closer than they... I don't know. I think if Montreal and Hamilton are trying against us, it would be different. What do you want me to say? It just keeps happening, and another loss season. There are 18 games in a CFL season. There is over 15% of the season to go, and we're out. 3 games out of 18. That is huge, and we're already out. That's embarrassing. In a league where 2/3 of the league make it to the playoffs, you're out with a 1/6 of the season left. I mean, get out of town. Just get out of town. Look, I'm gonna be there on the 18th, but if changes aren't made, I worry that pretty soon it's only gonna be me and people like me, people who are diehards like me. In a small market, you need to convince the everyman to want to go to your games. Look, I can tell you teams who I want to see, who I don't really follow. I went to a few Titans games this year. They missed the playoffs, but it was decent. I want to see a Rapid game. I want to see an Atletico game. Soccer's not my sport, but from what I hear, it's a good show. It's a damn good show. It's entertaining. If I had a friend who wasn't that into football and said, hey, should I go to a Red Blacks game? Honestly, right now, I'm not sure that I'd say yes, because I don't think they would be a fan if they went. That's what hurts. I think that if I brought a friend who doesn't watch football to a Red Blacks game, they would be even less into football. That wasn't the case a few years ago. 2015, 16, 17, 18. You brought someone to a Red Blacks game, they were a fan for life. And I know, because I was that kid. I don't know if any more of those kids are being made today. And as always, go Ottawa, go.